Representing the 14 to 16 foot class in the flats boat category, the Salt Marsh 1656 has an overall length of 16 feet, a beam of 6 feet, and a max horsepower rating of 60. Designed to pull easily over the shallowest flats, she has a draft of 6 inches, a dead rise of 6 degrees, a dry weight of 280 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 12 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, Dave East and Rick Riles.
This is the Salt Marsh 1656, built by Ancona out of Fort Pierce. And really their model designation, Salt Marsh, it really kind of tells you what the boat is built for. Built for shallow saltwater fishing, but just as many people buy this boat to take it up in the marsh or in the lakes and go duck hunting.
It starts with a narrower hull we're talking about. Look at how skinny, look at how light, look at the way she sits in the water.
Well, what they've done too is they've built the hull out of Kevlar. And what the Kevlar does, it makes the boat bulletproof. This is a boat that you're gonna be running in shallow water, and if you're up on plane and you're running in shallow water and you happen to run across that rock or that coral head or maybe that stump if you're in fresh water, you need to have something that is puncture resistant, and that's what Kevlar is all about.
Well, my neck of the woods, if you're gonna fish shallow, you're gonna be bouncing off oyster bars all day long.
Right, yeah.
I'd love to have one that was bulletproof and you didn't end up scarring it up or even, as you say, puncturing it.
As technical pulling skiffs go, if you look, there's really nothing sticking up. It's flush all the way back, it's flat, it doesn't have anything that you don't need on it. I like the fact that the hatches are all flush in the boat. You're just looking at the boat, like it's just a nice, easy to clean, easy to run, easy to operate design.
But you know what impressed me so much about up here was the storage. We've been all over technical pulling skiffs where you couldn't find a place for your life jacket.
No, you're right.
But this one, plenty of storage.
Another thing they did, a lot of the skiffs we look at, the fuel tank's under the bow, and they do that for weight distribution. More weight you put forward, the shallower she'll float in the back, especially if you're gonna crawl up on that pulling platform. They put the fuel tank even forward of the storage. So they've kept their storage in the wider part of the deck, they put the fuel tank in the skinnier part of the deck.
I like it. And the one really neat thing about technical pulling skiffs, you don't need a huge fuel tank. They don't offer any water resistance. They don't burn a whole lot of fuel. But let me show you some stuff back here in the cockpit that I thought was cool. All right, here's a few things I like about this cockpit, okay? You notice you don't see rod racks around, you don't see rod holders. You don't see these on a technical pulling skiff, because think about it. The place to keep rods is under the gunnels, and you can do it in this boat.
Well, not only that, the cost of even an inexpensive rod nowadays is a lot of money. And the last thing you want to do is have it encroach into the cockpit where when you go to step out, you step on top of that rod, especially a fly rod. A lot of the new fly rods cost more than the first boat I bought, so you have to protect them.
Keep them below the gunnel, keep them protected, and you're exactly right. They're too expensive to risk breaking one by stepping on it.
Another advantage of this ring deck type construction is the fact that you can use every square inch of this cockpit. On a typical interliner boat, the wall comes straight down and you can only walk up to where the wall ends. On this boat, you actually walk all the way to the outside of the hull. That little bit of extra room that you gain may not sound like much, but when you add it to both sides all the way down, there's a lot more usable cockpit space.
And you're not adding it to a 40-footer. Okay, it's not like that. When you add it on a boat this size, think about proportionately how much more room it is.
Another reason you've got so much room here, they've opted to go with a side console. They don't have the center console. You can stand up and drive it. It's a lot more comfortable to sit, but look how much more room it gives you. You're gonna be on this side of the boat driving anyway. Your buddy's gonna be sitting next to you. You don't have all that room taken up by a center console. Well, it's all about maximizing space, and they've done a really good job on that, especially here under the rear casting deck. A lot of the technical pulling skiffs we've tested over the years, they don't have a bait well. You know, they have a little bit of storage, you can stuff your bag here. This one not only has a bait well, it has a huge bait well. So if you wanted to fish this in, let's say, a redfish tournament, you can keep a legal redfish alive in that well. Let's look at the pulling platform too. They went with a really, really wide design, and where that's useful is when you're pulling a boat, you're gonna wanna get a wide stance to get more secure in the boat when you're pushing this boat on the flat. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to push this boat too. It's super lightweight. This boat was designed to get in skinny water. It's super, super easy to push. And that makes a big difference. We're gonna spend all day on the flats fishing. I'm gonna be shoving you around with that push pole all day. The easier it is to push the boat, the better we can get up onto the flat and the less tired I'm gonna be.
I love boats who know who they are. Okay, this boat knows who it is. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Absolutely.
It's at home in shallow water, getting poled across a flat, looking for a great fish. It's got everything you need to do it, and it's puncture proof from what you run into. It's really a top shelf technical pulling skiff.